calma.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think Aspas baits, but I don't know, like the way to explain it. Can I show you something? I'm gonna show you this. I'm just gonna show you how you would play on like Abyss, for example. Okay. Sorry if you find this boring, but I'll show you because I can't really explain it. So the thing that made Aspas hard, the anti-strat, yeah. Say he's attacking. Say he's got jet, and they're attacking. Yeah, I'm gonna put random agents. I genuinely can't remember their comp. So say this is like them coming in. Say this is them entering the bomb site. I think they had Harb. I think they had a harbor. They had a harbor for sure. Where's harbor? H. Mr. Harbor, where are you? They had a harbor.
Toma, aula do porquê o Aspas não é baiter.
So they had something like this, yeah.
Coach da Heretics, hein? Falando do porquê o Aspas não é bait.
So,
e porquê é difícil fazer anti-tático nele.
With a DIY harbor wall. They would do a wall like this, and then these guys would take space. But Aspas wouldn't take space in this situation. He would sit here, and he'd be posted with an op. So it's like, sure, you can smoke him off, but all he does is run through the smoke and holds with the op anyway. So it's like...
Tá, mas isso daqui... Beleza, mas eu quero outro exemplo, mano. Eu não quero o exemplo da Abyss. Porque exemplo da Abyss, os caras não vai lembrar as outras 500 Abyss. Vai lembrar a Abyss contra a EDG. Eu quero outro exemplo.
You can't then, like, I can't say that freaking word. Freely retake through heaven. And also makes your passing through here really difficult. So, like, we'd have to commit a different smoke. Like, you have to either decide, do you smoke Aspas off here fully? Or, because, like, you do that, sure, like I said, he just jumps down, right? And then he's got this wall to hide behind. So he can still hold both angles. So instead of that, you have to commit a smoke here instead. To let everyone flood in. But also, this smoke isn't tall enough to block the heaven angle. So Aspas can still spot over this, yeah? So, like, Aspas can still spot over this, and it makes flooding in from heaven harder. So you can only really flood in through here now. And that's why it was hard to anti-strat them, because if he had an op, like, he would just have so much impact by playing defensive and playing smart. And it was just like, you'd have to commit your utility in different ways. So, the only positive to that, which is what I think we struggled a little bit with, like, they had a really good Abyss, and it was purely because of how Aspas was playing, to be honest. On defense as well, like, he was just roaming everywhere with an op, and it was difficult. But it makes you think of different ways to play. It's just different problems, right? Like, most jets...
Trembolona, em quase todos os outros jogos, em todos os camps, o first kill por rate dele, first kill por round dele era alto. O impacto dele de kills sempre foi muito alto. Para de ser negacionista, cara. A única diferença é que nesse campo de agora, os caras fugiam dele. A G2 fez isso, a Heretics fez isso, a EDG fez isso. Os caras fogem de onde o Aspas tá. Como que ele vai pegar kill assim? É o Aspas tentando pegar first kill de um lado e os caras rushando no con do outro. Porra, é óbvio que vai perder. Os caras rusham no con morre.
They have so many walls. They have so many things to block you off, like they can cascade you off.
Mas o que ele tá falando aqui agora, sim, realmente...
Wall, like,
sim, eu quero outro exemplo, não quero exemplo da Abyss.
Like this. They can use the orb, like they've got so much cover to like take the bomb site, it's insane. So they can get away with using their harbor and their cipher and their Sova to entry, you know? They don't need the jet to entry, so he can just sit back, defend with the op, and pick you off one by one.
Tem mapas que a Jet não precisa fazer o entry, como a Icebox. Você não precisa de uma Jet pra ganhar espaço. Agora na Ascent você precisa.
I think Aspas was just more dangerous with the op. Like, he was so fucking good with it. In short, yeah, the TLDR is you just play smart and safe. It's counterproductive, but not if you set your team up to deal with it, right? And that's what they've done. Like, they've set their team up to be able to not rely on their Agilist taking space. But it's also why people say baits, because if Aspas isn't hitting those shots, which by the way, they're not easy shots to hit, and if you anti-strat them, and you're aware of it, and he has no impact, which I think is what we did against them, like, we learned a lot from the first time we played Aspas, because he farmed us. The second time, I don't think he had the most impactful game. Could be wrong. I could type this in and he could have absolutely shit on us, and I could be waffling. But from what I remember, it didn't feel like he had much impact. Yeah, like, I feel like we nullified him pretty well. You know?
Aí, ó.
Like,
os caras anulam ele, eles tentam anular ele.
Making him not as impactful. Whereas, when we played them the first time, we played like idiots and we allowed them to farm us, you know? So yeah. If you don't play well against Aspas, he'll farm you, basically. And I think that's why people say he baits, because if you play against him properly
Só
and you
fala
don't
que ele
give him the
beita quem é
opportunities, it's hard for him
cego
to
pelos números do
perform.
VLR. E é isso. Boa análise, mas eu não queria ver da Abyss, eu queria ver de outros jogos. Outros mapas.